Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here, and today I'm in the new Clone Army Custom Store just outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'm joined by Tyler. He's going to be taking us through the storefront and then also behind the scenes in the amazing warehouse and all of the incredible products that they have here. So you guys have only been here for a few months at this point, right?
Actually, just over a year.
Just over a year at the store? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But the store's been open for just a few months.
The store's just, yes, that's what I was thinking. So how has that been kind of for you with the store opening?
Different. I mean, we've been online since day one, so that's kind of what we've been used to outside of going to the vendor events. So yeah, having walk-in customers is a whole new animal for us.
Mm-hmm. And you've got a big variety of products for sale here. So obviously all of your custom printed figures and helmets and all of that stuff, but then also just kind of general Star Wars sets. Star Wars is still very much the primary thing that you guys do.
Yeah, that's what people know us for. So we've been getting a lot of families in and locals and that kind of stuff. So, we've got the diehards that'll come and be like, oh, I need this one. And then we'll get a mom or another kid that's like, I don't know what any of that is, but that's Lego.
Exactly. So take us through some of this if you can then, kind of what you stock here, some of the main products that you've got.
Oh, every type of clone trooper helmet that you can imagine. And even like custom stuff that, doesn't exist outside of CAC products. So this is kind of the newest RP2 helmet line that kids have just been going nuts over. This is, our version of Cody, which we have a detail visor that goes on, and I think there's a picture up here around, up in the corner there.
So you've got the nice minifig pictures kind of featured all around the top as well.
And that was the benefit of doing our big grand opening, was we kind of took the warehouse that CAC was operating out of and turned it into the CAC decorated warehouse.
Okay.
So it feels a lot more like home for the business now. But and so that's kind of more the baseline stuff, and this is the new Commando launch, which happened just over Black Friday. And so all of these are just custom. There was 90 new.
The printing on this is just incredible. So people who haven't seen Clone Army custom stuff before, this is amazing.
That was the big thing is when other companies, Lego or custom printing companies, will print on a helmet, they'll usually print on the face. And, they have printing all around.
Yeah.
They've got 360 printing. So that was the big deal for us, was we wanted to make sure that, these helmets have all of the details all the way around. And it's that extra level of detail that we've been known for and the kids love now, so.
Mm-hmm. And even all the different colors, you get like these fantastic, the blue helmets there. So, really, is there anything at this point that kind of the printing technology has not advanced far enough to, or can you do pretty much everything that you can think of at this point?
I push the limits on everything. Yeah, as far as printing and injecting. Anytime that we've got, so one of my favorite things here is, for example, our helmet attachments, which are over here. We've got all these extra accessories which work with our helmets and the Lego helmets. So kids can, accessorize their minifigs any way they want.
Yeah. Accessories are a big thing. It's not just the figure, but just kind of creating that complete package.
Exactly.
I know that's what a lot of people look for.
It's all about the details.
There you go. And once again, the color array is amazing here. I love to see all these lined, the whole rainbow.
Yep, same with the backpack wall there. Yep, that's one of the big, we put through that on Instagram, and it's one of the biggest views that we've got, just because, it's so pretty to look at. Mm-hmm.
So you've got kind of the helmets that we've seen. You see the accessories here. What is this section kind of over here then?
This is backpacks.
Okay.
These are the specifically non-printed backpacks, so they're kind of the cheaper. They're just $1 each. But they, add that next level of detail to the character that.
This gold and silver chrome here is amazing. Look at those colors on there. That's fantastic.
They definitely pop with the lights.
I love to see the chrome pieces like that. And even clear, you just go totally clear as well.
Yep.
And that's all of this is backpack. So you tend to do kind of large quantities of same type of piece?
Oh yeah, yep. I've got, oh man, that would have been good to know. I think we've got 12 molds right now, there's a backpack mold, helmet attachments mold, many helmet molds. But Yeah, the next level of, like, we'll print even onto the backpack, so they've got their second level of detail, like the Scorch backpack, which has been pretty popular lately. But that was part of the big Commando release. I had to have all these different Commando helmet prints. Well, each Commando's got a backpack, so I had to design all these backpacks to go with the helmets. And so now we're finally getting into the body prints for them. So when those start dropping, like, kids are going to go nuts again. So it's just this cycle of, like, every 2-3 weeks we've got something new coming in and off these major print lists that I've got going. So
now, is the design work, is that all you? I know you've got a number of employees helping with various stuff, but you do all the design stuff?
Yep,
okay.
It's all me. Yep. Yeah, that was the best part of getting into the warehouse was being able to hire friends and family specifically to do the orders and basically take over the day-to-day operations, so I can focus on the designing and like Instagram and Discord and actually talking with the customers, being like, hey, what do you guys think about this or versus this? And so there's a lot of good feedback there.
Yeah, because even though you have the physical storefront now, online is still very much kind of your primary platform.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've been, like I said, online since day one, so that's not going to change.
And then this section is kind of some of the non-Star Wars stuff right here, a little bit over here.
Yeah, we've got some superhero armors and some orbital armor that, is for space battles and that kind of stuff. So you can customize those up however you want, and different visors. And we've got a slew of weapons and bad guys and alternate armor coming for those. And just depends on how long it takes me to design them and get them into production. So.
No, these are fantastic here. Is this an area you hope to expand a lot on in the future, kind of outside of just Star Wars?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm a big sci-fi nut, so there's several themes coming outside of just clone troopers. So
lots more for people to look forward to.
Always.
And then here we get into, let's see, more of the kind of printed accessories over here.
More helmet attachments.
Okay.
I know Lego just released their first macro binoculars for a figure, and kids are kind of going nuts over that. And then we threw it out there, like, we've had these for years, but they're also printed. And they're like, oh, detail.
Yes.
Extra detail.
Do you pay pretty close attention to what Lego is doing with, like, the Star Wars products, just to kind of see, like, how does ours compare, and just kind of how can we tie in and that kind of thing?
Yeah, the main focus is obviously doing our own thing, but we still want to make sure that we're an accessory and an add-on. So we're constantly watching, what's being released with that, and making sure that we've got, if they've got a 501st battle pack that comes out with all these blue figures, well, we better stock up on blue figures, because that's the first thing that's going to go off the shelf. So.
And lots more exciting helmets.
Oh yes, yeah. Black Friday was a big custom drop. I think there was between Black Friday and New Year, I think there was like 120 new printed helmets, like new versions.
Wow.
Yeah, the bulk of it being Commando helmets, but we've got the ATRT driver helmets and new pilot helmets, a bunch of new airborne helmets, and right now I'm working on the next round of Bad Batch helmets, which this was 2 years ago, Black Friday, and this was this was like a 6-month project that I think I started in the April prior, and so I kept getting all these little pieces, and I wanted to tease people with them, but I was like, nope, I'm gonna hold on to it, and then we're just gonna do a big drop when it's all ready. And it was, I think we had like 2,000 orders over that Black Friday, because it was brand new. It was so many new items on the website, and I threw them all into, so we've got squad packs where you can get a pack of 4 guys for, a reduced price. And yeah, those went like hotcakes. So thankfully, we didn't sell out of anything because I had produced enough, but I think it was 2 or 3 months after that, some of the inventory got really low, and I was like, all right, we need to get another round of prints going just to make sure that we keep in stock. That's the difficult part, is making sure that everything's in stock all the time. There's items that have been out of stock for like 9 months, just because I'm like, okay, well, it's on the print list, but this is priority now. No, this is priority. So it keeps like pushing down the restocks of other things. So
When you release something new, is it really hard to predict kind of how it's going to do? Or at this point, have you done it long enough where you pretty much know if I make this many, it should be okay?
A bit of both. I have been throwing some wild cards out there just to kind of test the market and see how kids react to it. But for the most part, yeah, I try to produce enough of something to keep it in stock for a year. That being said, I'm still surprised from time to time because it'll sell out in a month. And I'm like, oh, okay, we need to get this one going. So.
Now the minifigures here are obviously kind of one of the most impressive things that you guys do.
Thank you.
What are some of your kind of most advanced prints at this point? How has that changed over the years and what you've been able to add and the level of detail that you've been able to do?
I think the biggest thing recently is we are now doing 360 print arms. So previously we had, so for example, this is a 180 arm where we just print on the one side. And now we've got these 360 arms where we're printing on the back of the arms and the front of the arms.
Yeah.
And it, extra level of detail. But now you can see the elbow pads, and the big thing, there's a camo guy that you can really tell because it's still a 180 print. I'm not in here enough to
It's hard to keep track of where everything is.
So this is one of my favorite prints that we did. But it was a 180 print, so it's got that nice, streak of white. The 360 prints don't have that now.
Yeah.
So that's full coverage that we're doing. And that's what all of our prints are coming out now. We'll have that 360 arm print. But we also have the new RP2 bodies, which is a different template. Because I think Lego's done 4 or 5 different templates for Clone Troopers now. So this one has the updated belt and new knee pads. But it still has that 360 printing all over the figure.
Yeah, and it's like you said, you don't see that like clear print line or something then. It looks realistic, lifelike. That's the goal, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That looks great. Do you take a lot of feedback from fans in terms of those types of improvements? Is there things people are sharing with you and you're like, yeah, we'll try to kind of incorporate that in the future?
And that's the big thing is, we're not the only one in this space. We're the only one that's doing like this quantity or level of production, and everything's pad printed, just like Lego, which is why it's special and important. But yeah, the competition out there has done 360 like decals or wraps. That's arguably why the printed visors, this is such a small item, but there were people out there that were decaling these, and I'm like, okay, we can do this. So we started printing onto the visors, which, there's an additional, dollar cost associated to it commercially, but now kids don't have to, attempt to decal and mess it up.
Trying to decal something that small and those like angles and everything.
Exactly. But the level of detail that it adds to the character is important.
Yeah.
No, yes. So specifically, it goes to this guy. And now he's complete.
There you go. And that's what fans are looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is, your array of products and level of detail is amazing to look at here. As people have come in now that you have an actual storefront, do you get people not that familiar with your product that are just like blown away about like what someone can do with Lego?
All the time. Yeah, I'm constantly telling people our story and how my wife and I built this from the ground up, and it's been it's been all me since day one. I remember before we got into like the pad printing and injections that back when it was decal and resin casting helmets, like it was all me constantly. There was a Christmas, hi guys. There was a Christmas that I was like, okay, I need to get as many of these orders out as possible. I stayed up for 3 days on Hot Pockets and Mountain Dew and just decaling and listening to music and resin, like just producing. And I crashed for a solid week after that. Like I couldn't get out of bed, just physically exhausted. But the amount of orders that went out for that Christmas, like the amount of emails I got back from kids, just elated that their stuff made it in time. It was really special. So.
And this is why you have employees.
Exactly. Now it's not just me; it's them, but I get to still design. So. Yeah.
So we've looked at a lot of different products. Was there anything else that we missed or you wanted to highlight before we move on to?
Oh, figures, accessories, helmets, lots of helmets.
There we go.
We do have, like there's specials.
Okay.
So sometimes we'll have misprints. And it's so minor, but it's an important detail. Actually, I don't know what the misprint is on this one, but it's nice that we can discount it, and the kids that come in, they'll see that, and like, you know, maybe they don't want to go for a $25 or $30 fig. Instead, they'll take a $15 misprint that you know has a barely noticeable thing. But it's...
You're supposed to charge more for the misprints because they're rarer then. That's like Lego.
I didn't tell you. So those old customs that I used to make, those have been going on eBay for like $200 to $400.
Oh my.
It's insane. But they have survived to this day.
Yeah.
And there's like, yeah, so, you know, misprints are worth something, I guess. I'm doing it wrong. I should be holding on to these.
That's right, exactly. I mean, that's, I think, how like regular Lego products have been. I mean, if you
Right.
find like misprinted Star Wars or any kind of figure, yeah, people will pay like crazy for that.
Yeah, recently we had a bunch of kids ask for non-printed helmets and accessories specifically, so that they can, you know, do their own decals and their own
Kind of a blank
design on
slate
them.
for them, then you're just
Exactly.
kind of providing the piece,
Yep.
yeah.
So that was,
well.
I think that came out Black Friday as well. But we just came out with our Weapons Mold 4, which this one is special because we have the Commando system, which can actually change the piece out. So you can change it from a sniper to a blaster,
Very nice, yeah.
and then back and forth. There's 3 different attachments for this one specifically. But then there was also the BB sniper, because, you know, when we see this in action, he splits the gun so he can carry it. So that's how we gotta, you know, have it produced. So that was fun to design.
That is fantastic, yeah. Next level stuff there, very impressive. Then of course you've got the metallic, all the chrome and everything over here.
Catching all that light.
Yeah, this might be my favorite display wall right here.
Oh yeah, all the kids that come through, they'll be walking through, picking out their figure and stuff, and we tell them that every single figure comes with a free blaster weapon. And so they're like, oh, where are those? And we'll send them over here, and they'll, oh, cool, looking through the black, and they'll pass, you know, take a double look at all the chrome and shiny stuff. So.
And then of course the pink as well,
Yep,
which is something very different.
Yeah, that was big at vendor shows because, you know, families come through, and there's always girls that will come through, and they, where's the pink weapons? Where's the pink weapons? So it's like, all right, here's pink weapons. Now we've got them.
In the molding process, are certain colors or types harder to get exactly right? You know, things like a chrome versus a black.
Yes, so the chrome actually adds a little bit of thickness to the piece. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can either make another mold specifically for the chroming, so basically everything is sized down a little bit to allow for that extra thickness, or you can just chrome the existing item and just go with that thickness. And thankfully the Lego hands are, they're a different type of plastic, so they're a little more bendy, so they hold the piece as well.
Yeah, there's some flexibility there then.
Exactly. Yep.
Now on the wall behind us is kind of more of the traditional Lego sets, mostly Star Wars. I see there's an old Atlantis set.
Yes, yes. So I have been hoarding Lego sets basically since we started going to vendor shows in 12.
Okay.
And so anytime we got something, I'd throw it in the closet, throw it in the utility room, anywhere that I could, you know, stuff it, and the wife didn't have to look at it. So there's a lot of retired sets out here, which is crazy because I looked up like fair value on them, and like they're like $200, $300, $400 for the, you know, these tiny sets that used to be like, you know, 30 or 40 bucks or something. It's nuts. But that, and then I wanted to have, you know, a good display out here, so we bought a large catalog of, you know, just the standard release Lego stuff, and I actually need to re-up the quantities out here, but.
That's really nice. So it's kind of something more traditional sets for people, especially the older retired stuff. That's cool. Yeah, stuff you can't necessarily get anymore.
Yeah, we get some diehards that come in here, and there was this one kid that he's in every week, and he'll spend 5-10 minutes, and he'll just come over and look at the set and be like, okay, okay, and then he'll leave. And then he comes back the next week, does the same thing, and I'm like, it's theirs, get it while you can. I don't know where else you're gonna buy it, so. Yeah, he's just nuts. But it's good because, when we're getting those locals or diehards, they'll bring their family and they don't really know what we do specifically. So it's nice to have a standard Lego accent to our custom accessories. Almost how we're gonna add on to Lego. But
for sure. And what are all these over here?
So these are grab bags. If you don't want a specific weapon, but you would like an entire assortment of weapons, these are $2, and you get 8 weapons for them. And there's an assortment of the silver and gold and black, and I think we phased pink out of them because we got a bunch of bad feedback on that. But yeah, it's just a cheaper way to get more custom accessories and blasters versus just buying them all individually. So.
Well, this is a great selection here. So for people who want to come into the store and visit, are you open every day? How does that typically work?
So publicly we're listed as Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 4. But we tell people locally, if you see somebody here, come on in. Like, as long as we're here, we don't mind people and customers coming in and interacting. Like, we're not going to turn somebody away that wants to come check us out, so.
Yeah, that's very cool. So definitely make sure we're kind of just north of Grand Rapids?
Yeah.
Right, so that the Grand Rapids area for sure.
Yep, right between Cedar Springs and Rockford.
Okay.
I grew up in Rockford, and I've got friends in Cedar, and we were looking for a warehouse for like two years, I think. And because of COVID with the market, it was just nuts, and prices were nuts, and so we just were like, okay, we'll just rent a space. And we had a little, I think it was like 800 square feet spot, and it was tiny. It was not big enough to run a business, and so then this popped up on the market, 10,000 square feet, plus a side building and a building out back on 13 acres. Yes, it was just like, and it's 10 minutes from our house, it's 10 minutes from our lake house, and we got this nice little triangle that we don't have to leave now.
It's the start of the Clone Army Customs empire right here.
Exactly.
You got room to grow.
Exactly. Which, that's what the stuff out back is for.
Yes, so we can go a little more behind the scenes now. So this is kind of the first section in here. What all do you use this part for?
Yep, so this is order intake and order processing. So anybody that places an order online, we print the order out. So everybody gets a packing slip with their order. And then we make sure that we get the cloth accessories, because those are just as important as the figures themselves. And we've got everything labeled like that. That was the biggest learning curve for our employees, was figuring out how I name things. Because a lot of it, I just go, okay, let's go with the cap cloth. No, how about a CW cap cloth? Nope, this one needs an ammo pouch. This is gonna be a CW cap Rex cloth. So there's a lot of, I hate you, Tyler.
I mean, there's so
really,
much variety. Yeah, I'm sure it's difficult to differentiate between everything.
Exactly. And there's definitely more popular sellers than others, but thankfully I've finally figured out my laser cutting for those. So I've been in the garage for 3 weeks producing and just laser cutting cloths and getting everything overstocked, so that when we have a sale, we don't get just wiped out immediately. And yeah, we had 5 people hand cutting cloths up till 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's crazy, doing it all by hand. But I know that you were saying earlier that you've kind of figured out the process a little bit better, so you've let kind of technology and you kind of get that down.
Exactly. Yeah, the technology wasn't quite there until about last year, and I've gone through 3 or 4 laser cutters and 2 or 3 buddies helping me try to figure out those laser cutters. And the big problem was a lot of the software was junk. So.
Okay.
But I finally figured out a system. I just bought another laser cutter to double our production. So that should be all handled now.
Is that equipment tend to be very expensive? Is that something that you're kind of very hesitant to do when you're figuring this stuff out? It's like, oh, do we want to launch into this? And
well, I mean, throwing $1,000 at something isn't, no cheap thing.
Right.
So if I'm going to do that, I want to make sure it's, planned and proper, and we do the research before just jumping into something. As fun as it is to leap into something blindfolded.
Right. I'm sure it's easy for you to be like, well, yeah, I want to try this and this and this, and just like go to town on everything.
Exactly. That honestly, that's more how I am. It's more of my wife being like, all right, just make sure you're doing this properly and do some research. I'm like, yes, dear. But
so this is the cloth stuff then, which is super cool. But then if we go through here, you've got lots more amazing space.
indeed.
This is where the real serious quantities are. I'd love to
yeah.
see the giant collections of one part minifig.
Yeah, we've got a whole back stock. We call it the back stock of the back stock because we've got stuff like these didn't even have room in this is how many I've been producing, trying to keep us in stock for a year, that it overfills the box, and then we still got the bags out here. So we're like naming the extra bags and stuff, and yeah.
Do you kind of keep the inventory that you sell online separate from what you sell in the store, or does it all just kind of run?
Yep, it's all the same. And we've now got a system where we can just kind of weigh the box and figure out how many figures or helmets or whatever accessory it is. So we kind of keep that up to date once a month, once a quarter, something like that. So more so that I know, if I'm doing another round of reprints that, okay, we've got enough of this, and I can change the quantities depending. So
it's always fascinating to see the behind the scenes of an operation like this. I mean, just all the shipping boxes.
Oh yeah,
and just the quantities of everything that you don't always think of when you've just seen the finalized product, in the store you buy online.
Yeah, a lot of people don't see the duck feet under the pond, just keeping that thing afloat.
So this is all just tons more helmets and accessories here and everything.
Yep.
Like you said, just trying to kind of keep stuff in stock is always the goal, I imagine.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the most heartbreaking thing for me is, when a kid messages us on Instagram or something, they're like, I need this figure. And I'm like, I have zero. I can't, I have a shadow box at my house of all, the figures that we've produced.
Okay.
That thing is, half empty because I've plucked from it to give to customers because they just they need that one figure, and I'm like, I've got one. And they're like, I'll take it. I'm like, okay, here you go.
That's great customer service, though. I love to hear you say stuff like that because I think it really shows kind of how much you care about people. And it's like you said earlier. This started with just very much, I think, a passion project and from the ground up. And so it's something you clearly care about, not only the product itself, but the customers as well.
Exactly. Well, that's how the whole thing started, was I just wanted something that Lego wasn't producing, so I made it myself. And then I made a better version, and I sold the first version, and then I was like, oh, people actually want this. So I made, a third version, a fourth version. I think we're on Gen 8 of Delta Squad now. So, but yeah, that's we don't exist without customers. So obviously we need to treat them right. We need to make sure that, we're emailing back and forth, and we try to be as polite as possible. But sometimes you're always going to get that one customer that's just not going to be happy. There was a customer recently that just contacted us and was bitter right off the start. And Amanda was so professional about it. She just was to the point, and this is how it is. And there's nothing that we can really do about it. And it was this back and forth where he was just mean, and she was just firm and to the point. And then finally, there was movement into tracking or something. And he was like, oh my God. And it was, a worry that he wasn't going to get the package, understandably. But once he saw that movement and tracking, he emailed back. He's like, I'm so sorry, I was rude, and I was really concerned. I'm like, we get it, man, we get it. And so it was very good. I gave her a gold star that day. So.
There you go. But that is worth keeping in mind for anyone watching this video that buys Clone Army Customs products. Obviously on their end, they can do everything they can to get the order packed and in the mail. But there are certain things outside of your control until you buy your own shipping company and
right. Yeah, I'll work on that.
So there are all these things that come up, I'm sure. Now, are there a lot of products here that aren't out in the storefront, or is this pretty much the same?
No, it's the same stuff.
Okay.
We try to make sure that the storefront is available first and foremost, which is something to note that customers that walk in, if we get down to 20 or less of an item, we'll usually remove it from the website just because I don't want to oversell it and then have to issue refunds or something. So if something does go out of stock, it won't be available online, but they can walk in and they see, they've got 2 of those left. they can buy them
Yeah.
because if it's in the warehouse, it's available.
Yeah, that's a perk of coming out here. Too.
Exactly.
You got to make the trip to Michigan, which might be kind of far for some people.
Understandably.
But yeah, it's just cool to see all of the quantities here, and you can see some of the blank helmets. What is your kind of system like to keep track of all this? Is that all computerized, and how have you kind of figured that out? No?
We've got, well, like I said, as far as inventory go, we do have a data sheet kind of built.
Okay.
But as far as like stocking it back here, we just kind of picked where to put things and until we have enough time to actually go through and kind of that's the plan. Is we're going to get a QR system set up on all the boxes so that you could just scan it and be like, okay, this is the inventory. And so we're I don't even know how old business. Oh my gosh. I go from 2012 because that's when we had our first plastic injection and pad printing.
Okay.
But I started this in like 2005 when I was selling on eBay and stuff.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
What is that? 23 is 18 years?
Yeah, if you go back to the very beginning, yeah.
So it's all been kind of learning on the go. So more weapons.
Yes, look at this here. Not every day you see this quantity of custom Lego.
Correct.
Now, as we round the corner here, you get into a much larger kind of open space. So
Correct.
I'm sure you have dreams, ideas, goals for this. What are some of those?
So this is, currently we have outsourced the production as far as the plastic injection pad printing for the accessories and the figures. But this space is going to be used for supplemental production. So we're going to have in-house CNC milling, the ABS injections, UV printing, pad printing. Basically, I want this to be a one-stop custom fabrication shop. So that, if somebody emails in, they're like, hey, I want to do this with this, and I want a clone trooper with an arrow through the helmet. Okay, we'll make it.
Wow, yeah.
Just, whatever fees attached to making that new item. So, yeah, that's what this whole space is going to be. We're going to have electrical and lighting rework and, just setting up supplemental production for custom commissions, essentially. So
that'll be amazing. Yeah, that's some very unique services that you'll be able to offer there.
Exactly.
But that's what blows my mind about just like the incredible amount of like kind of third-party Lego companies that have popped up over the years, and just the way that they improve the Lego process so much, and everything that you guys make that you can add on to Lego products.
Absolutely.
And just improve that process.
Yeah, we don't exist without them. And the customers, they're always, asking for some crazy outlandish thing outside of the normal requests. So it's always been fun and exciting, building, expanding, and creating, designing. I love it. So it's really not work for me.
That's amazing. Have you had much interaction with like official Lego people over the years, and like what they think of your product at all, or anything like that?
Not really. I was contacted one time when I was selling a Kubrick thing on eBay years ago, and I had Lego in the title because on visibility, and there was a Lego rep that was like, "Hey, this isn't Lego. Take our name off it." And I said, "Okay, Kubrick, whatever, and not Lego." Nice try. Lego's in the title. Get rid of it. Okay, you got me.
I like the creativity.
But outside that, I buy so all the bodies that we use are genuine Lego. So I'm buying them either directly from them or third party, like on Bricklink.
Okay.
That can be, verified official third party. So that's been the big trick, is making sure that we're keeping the figures in stock so that we can obviously do all the printing and, releasing all these new designs and characters and all these, crazy 360 prints on them. So, good stuff.
And you're always doing new stuff here, which is super cool. So basically, no matter when people check back in, there's going to be something you're working in. Yeah.
Always. And there's a lot of customers that'll message through, again, the Instagram and Discord are the big ones. And they're like, hey, when are you restocking this? And I'm like, April plus, May plus. I don't really know. I've got it in the print queue, but it depends on, if other things take urgent or, Yeah, there's the front page of the website's always got like the last 2 or 3 releases, but everything gets tagged properly. So when you search for, RP2 helmet and go to that section on the website, it'll always have the newest items up at the top. So.
Now, I know over the years you've gone to quite a few LEGO conventions and sold some stuff yourselves.
Yep.
We haven't seen you at shows recently, so for fans who maybe want to see you back out there, is that going to happen in the future, or at this point are you pretty settled down here?
In the future, yes. Currently, I have a 3-year-old, 2.5-year-old, 1.5-year-old, sorry. And we will have our 3rd member here in August.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting, but I'm sure also very busy.
Oh yes, yeah. Full-time dad is a whole different career. So it's actually been very relieving that we haven't had to go to the vendor shows. That being said, we've still got friends and family that are selling at the shows that hopped on the chance to sell our stuff. So we have several resellers that are still putting CAC into the vendor shows, and
so products are represented there even if you aren't necessarily
Correct.
there in person.
Correct.
Okay.
But yeah, long term, I do plan to go back to the events. Hopefully, just as like a visitor, and then I can see the CAC booth with my employees running it. So.
Yeah. Any plans to ever do anything like hold events or I don't know, just kind of general public gatherings here?
Yep. Personally, I would like to do. So we had our grand opening in November, right before Black Friday. I'm thinking that I want to make that a yearly thing where just every year we'll have a big drop, and then the people that come in for the yearly event would have first access to whatever's dropping on Black Friday, and whatever the newest of the new, they've got first access to it. So I think that would be pretty neat.
Yeah, that's I think the advantage of having a physical space like this. We've seen that with like the Brickmania stores we visited as well, where like there's so many really cool events you can do like that. It just isn't possible when you're just online.
Right.
Yeah, that's very, very impressive. Well, thanks for taking us through everything here. This is a fantastic space, and it sounds like you're going to continue to grow. So we look forward to more in the future. For people who do want to check out the store here, what's the best place to kind of find info online or just kind of follow what you guys are doing? Where do you stay most active?
Personally, I run the Instagram account, so if you get a message on there, that's me. Outside that, we've got 2 or 3 different Discords. All the info is available on the CAC website. And then if you have any email questions or something urgent, orders at clonearmycustoms.com. You'll get usually Amanda, and she takes care of all of our customers fantastically. So
perfect. We'll make sure to put links in the description below so you can find the website and the social media there. If you have not checked out Clone Army Customs products before, they are amazing. Highly recommend them, so you won't be disappointed by anything they sell here. But if you can, make it into the store. So
absolutely.
Plan your road trip to Michigan, especially around like the fall season. I can say this is a really good time to come up here.
Correct.
Maybe not middle of winter, but if you've ever wanted to go kind of looking at some of the beautiful leaves and enjoying some scenery, then plan your trip to the store around that time of year as well.
Excellent plan. Excellent plan.
Thank you so much, Tyler. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Thank you.